Good morning, guys. How are you? First of all, thank you for asking me all these questions. I'm so excited to explain you all about Australia. So let's start. When I was at ESO, I decided that I wanted to become biologist because for me my favorite subject was biology and science, and I really wanted to study something that helped the environment or work with animals. So that's why I chose that. But I didn't choose it in that moment. I already knew it since I was a child. I always love animals, nature. I watch a lot of documentaries since I was a child, so that's why I decided to become a biologist. And when I finished my degree at the uni, um, I needed to keep studying, and I wanted to study English because in my degree it's very important to know that language. So I decided to go to another country and study English, and I choose Australia because of the animals. For me, the animals in Australia, they are amazing. The 80% of the animals here, they are just here in this country and nowhere else in the world. So that's why I choose Australia. I live on the Gold Coast. It's a city that is next to Brisbane in Queensland, the state of Queensland. And I choose to live here because you are surrounded by a lot of nature in the city. We have a lot of mountains where you can do a lot of hikes. We have many beaches around the Gold Coast where you can go and do a lot of surf, snorkel, dive, and explore the area. Yes, I travel almost around all Australia, but I haven't been in Northern Territory because there is just a lot of crocodiles, a lot of farms, and not much to visit in there. And in Canberra, which is the capital, because there is just people working for the government. There's not much to see in there. And yeah, I'm gonna explain a bit where I have been traveling. But for me, my favorite road trip was in Queensland, where I live, because it was my first one, and it was where I started to see most of the animals that live here in Australia. So I drove there from Brisbane to Cairns for 2 weeks, and I visit the Great Barrier Reef. It's amazing. It's a really important thing for the wildlife here in Australia. There in that trip, I saw many kangaroos, I saw platypus, cassowaries, snakes, crocodiles, and whales. So for me, it was amazing to see all these animals in the real life. I traveled as well around Tasmania with a camper van and my friends. So we were around the coast. We saw many dolphins in there. One day we saw hundreds and hundreds of them that they were crossing over in a boat. So it was so cool. We saw penguins the same day. We saw seals. And I never expect to see that animals in there because normally that kind of animals they live on the cold. But yet Tasmania is so cold because it's in the south of Australia. I saw wombats as well, which is a little bit weird animal because it's like a bear, but fat and small. And I saw the Tasman devil, which it was like a bit scary because they are quite aggressive. And I saw echidnas too. In New South Wales, I just visit Sydney, the city, and the Blue Mountains. That is a national park that is next to Sydney. And I didn't saw many animals in there because it's really close from the big city. Then I did another road trip in South Australia. There I saw emus, lizards, snakes. I swam with sea lions. This was an incredible experience because they were super cute. They were like puppies, but in the sea. And then I did the great white shark diving in the cage. this activity I will explain you later. I went to the state of Victoria too, and there I did a small road trip, like 4 days just. And I saw the 12 apostles, that they are like really highlights in Victoria. I saw koalas there, dolphins, seals, and whales too around the coast. And my last trip was 1 week ago. I was visiting Western Australia. This part is where the desert is in Australia, and they say that is where the desert meets the sea. And it was a really nice experience because there I could swim with a whale shark. Well, I swam with three of them, three different ones, for 2 hours. They are huge animals. They can reach 12 meters long. And I was swimming with a male juvenile, and he was just 5 meters long, but I swear it was huge. It was so big. And you think that maybe it's scary, but they were swimming like super relaxed, super gentle. So it was an amazing experience too. I saw as well turtles swimming. I saw dolphins, whales. I saw a moose again, and the quokka. I don't know if you know, but they say it's the most happiest animal in the world because it's always smiling. I haven't been in the lake that Ainara mentioned, but I've been in another lake, well, in two different lakes, pink lakes, in South Australia. Um, the most beautiful one that I've been is the Lake McDonnell in Seduna in South Australia. Is this one in the picture? And for me, it's really beautiful because there's a road that crosses in front of the pink lake, and on the other side of the road, you can see the ocean. So it's really beautiful to see the lake and the ocean because they are really different. And it's pink because there's a algae that is called Dunaliella salina, and a bacteria that is an allobacteria, and this bacteria eats this algae, and the bacteria secretes red carotenoids, so that's why the water looks like pink in the lake. When koalas born, they are super small, they are tiny, they are just 2 centimeters long, and what they do is that they climb uh, from the vagina until the pocket of the mom. The mom has a pocket in her belly, so they stay there for 22 weeks approx. So they keep developing in the pouch, and then they start to go out sometimes, and with the time they grow, and then they get out finally from the pocket. They just eat eucalyptus, is the only thing that they eat. They don't even drink water because with the leaves of the eucalyptus they have enough water to survive. So yeah, they just eat eucalyptus and they sleep for 22 hours a day. So they have a really good life. The dingoes are not a domesticated animal. Many people think that they are like dogs, but yeah, they are really similar to dogs, but they are dangerous because they hunt animals. And if you travel around Australia to an area that there are dingoes with a baby or with a child, they always say that you have to be really careful um, with that child and with the food that you have because they can be aggressive. And yeah, sometimes they attack humans. They are not dangerous if you are an adult, but they can bite you. And normally they are really hungry because in this country they just have small animals and kangaroos are so strong. So normally for them it's really hard to catch animals to survive. The Tasmanian devil is called devil because when the Europeans arrived to Australia, they didn't know the animals that they were living here. So they used to hear like screams because when Tasmanian devil is eating, they they are a bit aggressive between them, so they do a scream. So in that moment, the European that came here, they didn't know about that animal. They didn't know what was this sound, so they thought that it was a mysterious devil around them, but it was this animal. And then they saw them. They discovered that this was the animal, and they saw that it has red ears and really sharp teeth. So they call it devil because it's similar to a devil for them. I have never seen a hedgehog in here in Australia. I saw more echidnas, which are really similar to them. They are native from Australia, and they eat ants and insects that they can find on the ground. I'm gonna talk now about the shark cage diving experience. I went to do that to South Australia, as I mentioned before, and for me it was a unique experience. It was amazing. I was so scared too at the beginning, but then I realized that they are like any other fish in the ocean. They are just swimming around, they are not aggressive. That's not true. They told us in the films that sharks are dangerous and they are aggressive and they eat humans, and that's not true. They are like huge fishes that they need to eat, and then they have a really sharp teeth, but they are not aggressive and they don't eat humans. Mm, the most predominating shark in Australia is the Webigon. We have them around the canals. We have a lot of them where I live in on the Gold Coast, but um, people is used to live around sharks. If you respect the sharks normally respect you. And we have to think always, every time that we go into the water, that we are the humans, we are the ones that we are inviting their home. They live there and they have been living there for many, many years. Thank you so much, guys, for the interview. For me, it was a pleasure to explain you about Australia. And please, if you have more questions, don't hesitate to contact me and to ask Sandra my email or something, and you can ask me more questions if you want. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.